What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Wales, New Jersey, back at it again for another UFC fight night. Tybura vs. Spivac 2, live from Las Vegas, Nevada. Here are two fights that I'm looking forward to watching. Not the most impressive card in the world, but there is a couple of sneaky good fights on this card. Let's take a look. Youssef Zalal vs. Jarno Aarons. This is Youssef Zalal's second stint in the UFC, with his first stint coming back in 2020 when he had a win against Austin Lingo, Jordan Griffin, Peter Barnett. Then he went on to lose against Ilia Topuria, Sung Woo Choi, and Sean Woodson. He got cut from the UFC, went over to another promotion, racked up a couple of wins under his belt, came back to the UFC and beat Billy Quarantillo by rear naked choke in the second round in very impressive fashion. He is facing off against Jarno Aarons, the Dutchman, who is 1-2 in the UFC, with his last win coming against Stephen Wang and a loss against Sung Woo Choi and William Gomez. Well, this is an interesting fight, as Jarno Aarons does hold a lot of power, so does Youssef Zalal. They both have very good striking, but Youssef Zalal is a lot better on the ground. This should be a very interesting fight. I got my eye on this one. Then we have a couple more fights on the prelims when we get to the main card. The featured bout on the main card, Danny Barlow versus Nikolai Varentenikov. Nikolai Varentenikov is 12-4 in his mixed martial arts career, fighting out of Kazakhstan. His only loss in the past 10 years has come to Michael Morales, who is a standout UFC fighter who is still currently undefeated and doing very well in the UFC. Varentenikov has 9 KOs. He has two of his 4 losses have come by finish. He does hold power. He is an exciting striker to watch. But he is facing Danny Barlow, who is 8-0, who is considered a prospect in the UFC. He got his UFC contract on Dana White's Contender Series against Raheem Forrest, with a very impressive win coming in the first round with strikes. Then in his first fight in the UFC, he fought Josh Quinlan, absolutely battered him in that fight. It was a one-sided fight. He ended up getting the win in round 3, very impressive style. Danny Barlow is a prospect. This has got fight of the night written all over it. Looking forward to this one. And then we got the main event of the evening, Marcin Tybura versus Sergey Spivac 2. Live from the Apex in Las Vegas. Dead even on the tail of the tape, 6'3", 78-inch reach. Marcin Tybura, he is 12-7 in the UFC, coming off a win against Tybura. Did lose to Tom Aspinall. Wins against Ivanov, Romanov, lost to Volkov, beat Walt Harris, Greg Hardy, Ben Rothwell, Max Grisham, and also Sergey Spivac. Sergey Spivac is 7-4 in the UFC, coming off a loss to Cyril Gahn. He completely gassed after the first round. He doesn't really have that great of a gas tank. He did beat Derek Lewis, Augusto Sakai, Greg Hardy. Did lose to Tom Aspinall, but who hasn't? Alexei Oleinik, Jared Vendera, Carlos Felipe, and lost to Marcin Tybura. This is a very close. It's an interesting fight. It is 5 rounds. The first fight was a 3-rounder. Marcin Tybura, I do think, will win this if it gets out of 2 rounds. Sergey Spivac is known to gas after all, but I believe Sergey is the favorite too. So it should be an interesting fight, but it could be one of those long, drawn-out, boring heavyweight fights. Let's hope it's not. But we shall see on Saturday night. once we get through this one, next weekend is going to be a banger. Israel Adesanya versus Dracus du Plessis in Australia. That should be a banger. As always, guys, enjoy the fights. Don't drink and drive. I'll see you next time. Arrivederci.